to get a DraftKings thing together, but I can't find. There it is. Um, Good Sunday morning to everybody. Next week will be Christmas Eve. You around? I meant to ask you that the other day.
Yes. It'll be Sunday morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't be doing anything till Sunday evening.
And I don't know if you want to move Monday's show because it's Christmas Day or.
Up to you. I don't think I have anything going on because Meg and her sister will go to their parents' house.
I have nothing either. I just didn't know if you were traveling with family or doing something with family.
I don't travel on holidays. I'm a curmudgeon. Come see me, or don't see me.
I know. I just didn't know if you're doing something with Meg. Yeah.
No, I let them have their time. They have to deal with my family here all the time. So.
Okay. Yeah. Then we can still do Monday night.
Yeah.
Then that's a big game next Monday night too. We'll be live during Ravens 49ers.
That game is
of the
huge.
year. Decides the AFC and NFC winners pretty much.
Yep.
All right. So did you enjoy the fights last night?
The championship fight was really boring.
The main event one.
Yeah. I mean, Colby Covington looked like
good.
Ass.
Yeah. I thought the co-main event was actually really good.
The co-main event was great. I mean, Paddy Pimblett just dominating Tony Ferguson.
He's 0-7 now since 2020. I don't know why he's still on the roster.
Yeah, he aged like milk.
Yeah, it's so bad to watch. But I don't know. I keep hoping he'll just pick up one last because he said he wants to retire with a win, so he's just going to keep fighting. I'm like, dude, just go home.
Call up Donald Cerrone.
But no, I feel bad for Tony. I actually loved the prelims. Like I thought the card was really well done. But the main event was just a terrible way to end the night. Like you said, I had no excitement watching what I watched.
Well, I mean, Leon's a champion, and that's how he fights anyways. So if you're not attacking him, you're just not going to have any production. And he was fine. Like, you are the challenger. It is upon you to go after the belt.
Yeah, I mean, and Leon admitted that he was actually out of his game a little after the fight because he
for being out of his game, he certainly tattooed that leg and was landing a lot of punches.
Who are y'all taking for the Super Bowl?
I took San Fran at the beginning of the year.
I actually think I took both the NFC and AFC leaders. I'm pretty sure I said Baltimore versus San Francisco again. And I stick with that. Right now, I stick with that. There's a very high chance I could change that to the Cowboys if the Niners drop to the Ravens next week.
Yeah.
Just because Dallas would then have home field. If they're on the road, there's no shot. But if Dallas gets home field through the playoffs, yeah, I think they win. They might win out. But
yeah, I think now we're waiting to see them on the road versus a good opponent, right?
Yeah, they're 3-3 on the road this season, but they've gotten a lot better lately. So we'll see what they do against Buffalo today in Buffalo in the rain.
Did you for Dallas? I heard a ridiculous stat this morning. It is a 16-point difference.
It's not in New Orleans. There won't be a power outage this time.
Home versus the road.
16. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Plus, Jim Harbaugh won't be throwing a hissy fit on the sideline until Roger Goodell that he can't get bullied by his brother. So Roger Goodell won't have to flip the lights off to give momentum away.
There you go.
That's not really what happened, but it was a funny thing people around Baltimore were saying when all of a sudden the lights went out and then all of a sudden the Niners came to life after the lights came back on.
They just needed a restart. That's all.
Yeah, like the whole stadium. I think you were trying to make a joke that they would have to be in the playoffs.
I don't think the Steelers make the playoffs anymore.
I think that's why it was a joke since she's a Steelers fan. But no, they play each other week 18. So technically, that's not a play. You wouldn't have to get a playoff game to see them play. They're the last game of the season. January football in Baltimore, though. So better bundle the hell up. So I'm not going to get into the fights too much because don't have that much time today, and we have a lot more time tomorrow. But I will say they have tickets. It just says that. Oh, it's to be denounced because they don't have a time set in case it's
flex.
Because the Ravens are one of those teams that are, and the Steelers are one of those teams that are always playoff potentials. The last week 18, there's like 5 teams week 18 right now at TBD because they might get flexed into the primetime game if it's a crucial must-win game for somebody. So it's just no TBD. It's TBD right now just because they don't know if it's going to be a crucial prime moment, but it's not going to be. The only prime moment might be the Ravens winning the AFC might be on the line, like being the 1 seed, because the Steelers, I truly believe, are just going to lose out from here. There seems to be no chemistry anymore on that roster.
No, and Trubisky got worse as the game went on.
Yeah. I mean, 14-0 and then 30-14 being the final is that's embarrassing.
Yeah, and the fact that you put in what's his name there? Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
With like 2 minutes to go, being like, go get us 14 points. Like, this is really going to fucking work.
Yeah. I mean, give Mason a game next week. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I texted you middle of the week. Joe Flacco is on the practice squad till Wednesday, and if he gets claimed, he can't say no. He has to go unless he retires. So, like, I even texted you. Why wouldn't the Steelers take a shot at the Browns? Like, your division rival Browns are winning games now because of Flacco. You have a terrible quarterback situation. Why not just take him off the practice squad?
Yeah, like some real gamesmanship there.
Yeah, like I didn't understand why that didn't happen, but now they signed Flacco to $1.5 million, and he could win up to like $6 million or earn up to $6 million if he wins the Super Bowl. So like they made sure he got paid.
$2 million for winning the Super Bowl, $1 million for making the Super Bowl.
You can say Flacco needs to go, but he has elevated the Browns. They have become.
Oh yeah, they're literally back in the hunt, and I would hate to play them in the playoffs.
Well, especially I mean that defense, and then you have a guy who's a playoff veteran, technically a legend of the playoffs.
One of the playoff legends, yeah.
I don't know where he found this new life. Like he's even scrambling and making beautiful throws. I'm like, what are you doing? Where did you find this fountain of youth out of nowhere? I mean, his beard doesn't look like fountain of youth, but
it was on a couch.
Yeah, spending time with his wife, gave him some energy again.
Yeah. It turns out retiring on a pile of money is pretty nice.
Yeah. With a beautiful woman to keep you company for a few years, and then you go, let's play some football again. I'm trying to do a DraftKings lineup for the Chiefs Patriots. I can't even fucking think of a Patriot worth putting any props in.
Maybe Henry.
Yeah, they're saying 26 yards. I think he can get that. I think he can get that. So I went with that one. That's the only one I can think of. But anyway, we got to pick games. We'll talk about Saturday and Thursday football on Monday tomorrow. A lot of them don't have. The Chargers game and the Broncos game have nothing to talk about, really, except for how wrong I was on one and how wrong we both were on Thursday night.
Hey, listen, I got what I needed out of that game, okay?
I mean, everybody did, I think.
Yeah.
Brandon Staley, in my opinion, got what he needed out of that game. I think he just needs to go be a DC. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's like the guy who used to coach the Lions. What's his name? Jim Schwartz.
Oh, yeah.
He was a terrible head coach, but he's still a defensive coordinator to this day. And he's on one of the higher rated defenses in the NFL because he's a great defensive coordinator. Sometimes you're just not a head coach. It's too much for you. You can't control your side of the ball. Well, Brandon Staley couldn't completely control his side of the ball while he was head coach. Go ahead and be a DC for somebody. It'll work. I don't have a problem. I don't think he'll have a problem transitioning back. And now they'll have a guy who knows at least what it's like to coaching on the sideline. That helps when you get one of those veteran, the guys who's done it as a coach now back as a DC. Look at Dan Quinn. He couldn't coach
Dan
Atlanta.
Quinn might get a head coaching job next year.
Yeah, probably.
I think he will.
He got a couple interviews last year, and it's only getting better this year. So, and Al Harris is going to get a defensive coordinator job. And right now, there's a lot of rumors Green Bay is going to call up Al Harris to be defensive coordinator because Joe Barry needs to fucking go. But anyway, that's more of a problem we'll talk about tomorrow. All right. First game I have written down in the notebook. I think this is a 4:00 game, so I'm not sure why it's at the top, but it's at the top. I'm pretty positive it's a 4:00 game, but it's Bucs at Packers in Green Bay.
No, it's a 1:00 game.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought it was a 4:00 game.
Line opened at 3.5 in favor of Green Bay. It's still 3.5. Both teams 6 and 7.
Yeah, they're calling for a little bit of rain on and off throughout the game. It's only 40 degrees, so it could be like that sleety bullshit.
Godwin is expected to roll for Tampa, but is nursing a hamstring.
Godwin's been like the most irrelevant player in the league this year. Unfortunately for him, I don't know what happened to him.
I think the big problem here for Green Bay is a guy by the name of Rachaad White.
Yeah. So worst run defense in the NFL. Watching Saquon tear us apart. And Tommy DeVito with his legs tear us apart because he wasn't throwing the ball well until the fourth quarter. And that was because they just kept opening this up with the run. Really concerned me.
Now, on the other side, you also have a terrible pass defense.
Yes, they do.
And they're banged up. Vita Vea was questionable this morning.
I'm looking at the inactive.
Devin White is inactive. Vita Vea and Jamel Dean are active.
Yeah, Jamel Dean coming back is huge. Aaron Jones is back. He says he's going to be full 100% snaps. AJ Dillon is out. He broke his finger in last week's game.
And something, I thought there was something else he was dealing with too. Besides that, I thought.
He's dealing with a calf, I think, or an ankle.
I think I heard that in the car on my way back.
Yeah, but he said it was not what is causing it. So the reason they claim he's not going to play today is because he's fine running the ball. They said, but he's having a really hard time with catching the ball. So he would be limited to only being able to run the ball. So they'd rather him just sit, especially if Aaron Jones could go.
Well, and the defensive team's going to figure that out, right? If like you're on the field and they know you can't catch the ball.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jair's still out because he took the money and ran. I'm going to say it because 2 weeks ago, he was in a freaking interview saying he's ready to play and he's excited to get back on the field. He still hasn't come back to the field. We would really use him against Mike Evans, but I guess we'll just go without. I'm going Bucs. I know it's going to be rainy and cold. It's in Green Bay, but I gave up on my system of taking the Packers against the Packers every week. And last week, and Tommy DeVito made me shit myself. So I'm going with the Bucs.
I'm Bucs here as well. I know the points are in favor of Green Bay. It's mostly because it's in Green Bay. But if Rachaad White can have any success, I think the Packers are in for a long day.
Yeah, I agree. Joe Barry hopefully has to go if they lose this game because it's insanity that guy's been allowed to stay offensive coordinator with one of the worst run defenses in the NFL the past 2 years. But, all right. Next one I have here, Giants Saints. Saints are going to be without Chris Olave. There's the big injury. Barkley's healthy. The Saints are giving up more rushing yards. Their third most rushing yards in the past 3 weeks in the NFL. And right now,
I feel like this line is an absolute trap. 5.5 to New Orleans.
In favor of the Saints? Yeah, no, I'm going underdog. This is my upset of the week.
I actually took the Giants here as well.
I'm buying in. I'm buying fucking in to Tommy Cutlets and the gabagool and the crazy agent dressing up like he's actually a mobster. I'm buying in. I'm going with the Giants here.
Fake it till you make it, buddy. Fake it till you make it.
I loved Colin Cowherd's piece about how an offensive coach and an offensive-minded guy can really change a game in this current league. And he goes, you look around the league at the defensive coaches with their quarterbacks out and they're struggling. He goes, look at Brian Daboll. This is the third quarterback this season, and he's still winning occasional games with subpar quarterbacks. And
a limited roster.
Yeah, and I'll give him credit. Danny DeVito looks a little better than subpar lately. 5 touchdowns, no picks since he started. He's the first undrafted quarterback to do that since like 1960 something.
Yeah, and look, he's going to struggle at times, right? Like he's a young guy. Obviously, he was undrafted for a reason, but he's winning the game.
No, actually, you know what? I'm going the under. Do I go the under on Mahomes? 259 yards passing? Under
Mahomes, 259. Pacheco's out, so they're going to have problems running the ball.
Yeah, I'm going under, though. There's a stat I'm going to tell you when we get to the Patriots game I saw today that's really concerning. But, yeah, I think there's just a belief in New York, right? They're not going to win out and go to a playoff run or anything, but, like, it's fun to watch. This isn't a high – like, the energy around DeVito is so fun. It's just enjoy. Like, I don't know how people aren't having fun watching it. He beat not the crap out of, but he made that game-winning drive against the Packers, and I still was enjoying myself because Tommy DeVito is just energy.
Yeah, like it's a fun story. Like, and that's what the NFL does pretty well is generate and sell these stories. And obviously, this is a bit over the top, but it's great. People are interested.
And then you got. I will say that I'm a little annoyed with the. Since we mentioned stories, I don't know if you heard about why Al Michaels is. New York Post made an article about why Al Michaels is not going to be part of the NBC broadcast booth for the entire playoffs.
I heard a little bit about it,
but New York Post said that it's because the NFL was upset with the fact that he said. He doesn't talk about Taylor Swift because he's there to talk about the show, not the sideshow.
Yeah.
And apparently that real upset the NFL that he wasn't excited to talk about Taylor, so he's not going to commentate during the playoffs. I'm like, how do you take away one of the best commentators in all of football? Because he just wants to talk about football. Whatever. NBC's NBC. I mean, they're them for the way they are for a long time. But and I understand Taylor's a big deal, and you want to mention she's at the games because she helps increase ratings and viewership and money and all this other shit. But, like, I don't know. Tony Romo was doing it for him, so he doesn't need to chip in.
Apparently, the actual decision from NBC Sports was a growing criticism over his lack of enthusiasm while calling games. It's like, bro, he's a legend. What are you talking about?
I have a hard time with that. He's the play-by-play. Tony Romo's sitting next to him as the excited guy. I don't think he needs to be over the top, or it's Collinsworth. I don't know who it is. It's not Tony Romo. But I don't know. Whatever. I wish they would go get fucking Rich Eisen. His game yesterday.
Rich Eisen is a gem.
Him and Kurt Warner in a booth together yesterday was actually really fun. I was so happy to hear that.
Did you catch the game that Orlovsky did?
Was it yesterday?
Was it yesterday? Was it the midday game, maybe? The second game? I think so.
Eisen and Warner did Colts Steelers. No, they did Cincinnati, Minnesota. Yeah, and the other one. And yeah, Orlovsky did Colts Steelers. That's right.
I liked it. I liked him. Like he was good.
No, I think he's good. I think some of his takes are a little crazy during his podcasts and whatnot. But
during the live game, he was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought he was good in the booth. All right. This is not who I thought I was going to say is the quarterback today, but the Texans are playing the Titans. And I forgot who it is already.
No Davis Mills. It's Case Keenum.
Case Keenum. There you go. In Tennessee, don't know what the weather's like in Tennessee off the top of my head. It's not a game a lot of people are talking about.
So if you go down the list of who Houston is going to be missing, Nico Collins, Will Anderson Jr., C.J. Stroud, like they are going to be struggling.
Yeah, I'm going.
I think they get back Noah Brown, but that's really it. Because of all that, I did go Titans here as well. It's kind of one of those games where if the Titans don't fall behind, I feel like they're going to control the clock with the run game. And if they have to throw the ball, they seem pretty good with D-Hop and Will Levis establishing a pretty damn good connection.
And D-Hop plays with an emotion in him and energy in him, and him having a game against his former team is going to fire him up. So I think the Texans are going to get beat pretty good here, but that's only because of all the injuries. I think they're one of the better AFC teams. They just have run into a real bad injury spell, and they're a young team with a young coach and a young quarterback, so they're going to have their ups and downs, but it's going to look pretty different today. So, yeah, I'll go Titans.
You know what I do like about when I look at the Titans during the week?
Sorry, Saquon only for 64 yards is insane. Go ahead.
D-Hop, he's always listed as a non-participant in practice.
I know, they got the old man just sitting on the sideline.
Yeah, he just doesn't practice. He's like, I can do what I can on the field, but I'm not practicing anymore.
Yeah.
Listen,
it makes sense.
It looks fine to me.
And you don't want to risk him getting hurt in practice.
Well, yeah, just imagine if like Kansas City had actually gotten him.
Whew.
Just one guy that could catch the ball.
Right? Besides Travis Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jets, Dolphins in Miami.
No Tyreek Hill.
No Tyreek Hill. A-Chain will play with an injured toe.
Yeah, so that's something to pay attention to.
Yeah, one wrong cut. One person steps on his foot when they're making a tackle. Things change.
I have him in a lineup, but I'm pretty set on that lineup, so it really doesn't hurt me. God, this is tough. And it's only tough because no Tyreek, and we saw that against the Titans.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm not having that hard of a time here, to be honest. People are going to think I'm nuts. I'm taking the Jets.
Dude, it went from a 12-point line to a 7-point line, and I think 7 is still extremely high. This defense,
I do too.
I think this defense, like Quinnen Williams, he might eat today.
2 or 3 picks against them last time they played.
And remember, they just lost their starting center.
Yeah, and now they're without their starting receiver and, their number one receiver. And no one has been able to throw against the secondary lately.
And Jalen, I like Jalen Waddle, but he's not breaking the secondary.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see anyone on the current roster expanding the secondary enough.
Now, the question is, what Zach Wilson do we get?
Yeah. I mean, if we get the Zach Wilson of last week, the Dolphins could get steamrolled in this game. But if we get the Zach Wilson of most other weeks of the season that he's played, this could be like a 13-7 win for Miami.
I had Miami initially with Tyreek playing, and I'm really leaning the Jets now that he's not.
And if he doesn't play and they lose, well, he's not playing. And if they lose, in my opinion, it might help bolster his MVP case. Like, they can't win against the Jets without him.
So let me think. I'm trying to think the last week where they struggled. They used Wilson Jr. and Mostert in some passing situations out of the backfield. A-Chain could have a game, but he's dealing with the toe. Breece Hall hasn't been running the ball well, but he's in the pass game now.
Yeah, he's doing real well in the pass game.
God, this is tough. This is much tougher than I would hope it'd be. Give me the Jets. I got a feeling.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. All right.
It's just a weird feeling about that, right? With no Tyreek and seeing how much he has struggled.
Yep. Now, if the Jets defense has one of their days off, we're in trouble. But
yeah, I think it's really going to be dependent on Miami's run game initially.
They 100% have to open the game with the ground. That's the only way Tua is going to have any success. They have to open the game with Mostert and Jeff Wilson and A-Chain.
Yeah.
And their defense can't collapse. I mean, that defense got beat by Will Levis pretty bad. So, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. It's in Miami. I don't think there's any weather. I looked at the radar this morning. I don't know if it's changed, but so it should be a decent game.
I'll check it real quick as we move on to the next one.
Next one should take only about 2 seconds to call. This is one of the easiest of the week, in my opinion. Commanders visiting the LA Rams, and I'm taking the Rams.
Oh, Rams 100%.
Commanders are going to lose out, and I'm sticking by that one.
75 degrees and sunny in Miami.
Yeah. So, good day for football.
Yeah.
The
pick 'em on that game, by the way, is 80% in favor of Miami.
Oh, so we're insane. Got it. Yeah, Rams though all the way.
The Rams to me, the way they're playing now is kind of it's very similar. When you have Matt Stafford playing to a very high level, now they have a run game. It seems like their offensive line is playing better. They are like kind of in the same category for me as the Bills are right now. Eye test, they're just good.
Yeah.
Even if the record doesn't show that, eye test right now, they're playing good ball.
No, I agree. They played the Niners twice, which is unfortunate for them. They played Seattle once at the beginning of the season, and Seattle at the beginning of the season was a way different beast than they are now. They've just lost some tough games against tough opponents that have put their record a little far down. They took the Ravens to overtime. They took the Packers to the edge of the game before Green Bay won. Like, they're a good team. I really do. I think they're a good team, especially with what we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season.
So. Oh, yeah. We thought total dumpster fire again.
Yeah. But
I think that's kind of like high praise for McVay.
I agree.
So, again, when you see these great offensive minds, they kind of make things work.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we're going to see it keep working. I think McVay's going to stay. I think he sees potential for another Super Bowl run in the next 2 years. I could be wrong, but I just feel like he has an energy around this team. He might stay another year.
I feel like his energy is like just uncapped, so it really is up to him.
Yeah, but Niners Cardinals is the next one. Another real easy one. I forgot this was one when I said there's only a couple easy games, but
it opened at 14. It's down to 12. I don't know why.
I'm checking now. Greenlaw is questionable. Tre'Davious Ward is questionable.
Oh, Tre'Davious Ward. Yeah, he played one series last week and then came out.
Yeah, and he's questionable with an ankle injury.
I don't think they'll risk it, to be honest. And they really don't need to. They have Lenore. They have other young guys that can play.
Yeah. No, but that's probably why. Greenlaw and Ward potentially not playing probably lowers that a little bit.
Yeah, that was simple. San Fran.
Yeah, no dwelling on that one.
85-14 on the pick'em there.
I don't know what I was doing with this, so bear with me. This is all over the place. Bears Browns. This is definitely a 1 o'clock game, but I snuck into 4 o'clock somehow.
No, well, I honestly, I know we try to go in order, but I don't think it really matters.
It doesn't, but it's just confusing me.
Bears Browns. I like how the Browns are playing right now. I kind of like the way Chicago's been playing lately, but I think DJ Moore's going to get a lot of attention, and Myles Garrett just seems to love Justin Fields.
Yeah, he does.
That man eats against the Bears.
It's supposed to rain till 2:45 there, so for the first half of the game, it should be pretty wet and sloppy.
Yeah, but who are you taking? You going to take Jerome Ford or are you going to take fucking Khalil Herbert?
Is Jerome Ford healthy? I didn't see if he was active.
Ooh, we should probably check that out.
He was limited in practice, I know, most of the week. Wow. I don't see his name.
No, I don't either.
They have a long injury list. I mean, it includes all the IR people in this fucking thing, but they have a long injury list. I look over at the Bears and I'm like, holy crap, there's 5 people listed on their injured list, complete with IR and everything. I don't know how they've gotten through the season so healthy, the Bears, but I'm taking the Bears. I'm taking my upset here.
You
week.
Know what? You can keep sticking with it because every time you pick them, they win. Good morning,
Tesco. It's not because of Fields, because I think this is going to be a very defensive game, and it's weird we all say, like, for me to say defensive, but people haven't been sleeping on this, but the past 3 weeks, the Bears have had a top 10 defense.
Yeah. Since that's honestly, that signing of Montez Sweat seems to have been like a nice jolt.
And they just signed Jalen Johnson, their top corner, to a long-term heavy contract.
I'm starting to lean more and more towards them keeping Fields and trying to get a ransom to like keep the team moving in the right direction.
I don't know. I keep hearing rumors that they're probably going to trade Fields and get a first and a third and maybe like another late round pick, which would give them 3 first-round picks. I mean, if they got Caleb Williams, an offensive lineman, and a receiver all in the first round, like,
yeah. But I heard some other guys on a podcast. They were talking. They think if you trade out of the first pick, you could get 3 first-round picks.
Oh, I 100% think that's the move to make.
So they think like if you had 2 first-round picks for the next 3 years, you'd be all right staying with Fields because you got 2 years where you really don't have to pay him.
Yeah.
So if through those 2 years you get 2 firsts, you can kind of bolster the roster and deal with that in the 3rd year.
Yeah, I don't know. You think about whether they want to trade Fields, whether they want to sign Fields after the question. Season.
Where does he go? I think we were both leaning like Atlanta.
I think Atlanta's the best situation, but I don't like Arthur Smith around Fields. So part of me also thinks I've heard Pittsburgh was interested. I think that would be a nightmare. No offensive line at all. I think the Raiders would be really interesting.
Offensive line trouble there too, though. And what's the coaching situation? We don't know.
Yeah.
What about what about the Bucks?
I would love to see him go to the Bucks. Good offensive line, a running back kind of going through an awakening. They might keep Mike Evans. Don't know. I would love to see him in Tampa Bay, but I just don't know what they're doing with Baker. They might stay cheap and go with Baker and draft a quarterback late in the rounds. And
yeah,
see, Seattle would be good if they didn't just sign Geno to that dumb contract. I just don't see Seattle moving.
Yeah, I think Seattle's got to draft a quarterback. They can't take on a quarterback
because you're not going to bench Fields to learn at this point. He's been in the league for fucking 3 or 4 years, so he's got to be a starter if you're going to trade him. And then you're going to have to give up a bit. Honestly, I think the Bears are in trouble because I think they should keep Fields, like you said, trade that number 1 pick, get a ransom for it. But then you have to go, and the Bears can pay because they have the most salary cap entry in the league next year. But like, you're going to have to pay Fields after the season if he's really your guy because his contract's up. So it's, it would be not this season, 2024, sorry. So it would be interesting to see if that's going to weigh a decision into what they do with Fields at this point. Because they're a cheap run organization, and that's why they don't have a Super Bowl since like 19-something, 80-something probably.
What about Minnesota?
See, I actually like that a lot.
But probably not because
I think they'll just keep
in division, right?
Yeah, the ransom would be higher for sure. But I think they would keep
I was going to say maybe New Orleans, but they just signed Carr to that massive deal too.
Yeah, I really wish there was an out for them because I could also see the Giants. But there's no weapons, there's no anything, so I don't.
Washington?
Giants I actually love that, but the new owner might love that idea.
I don't see that being a bad fit.
Yeah, the new owner would love that idea. I mean, I'd take Fields.
And you certainly can't send him to fucking New England because we're never going to turn him into anything good, not giving him a single weapon.
Yeah. And Bill will be gone, so who knows? I don't know what the fuck's about to happen. You guys might actually start drafting.
Straight up swap. Arizona, Chicago.
Yeah, give Chicago a quote-unquote veteran leader. And
just because he plays Call of Duty on veteran doesn't mean he's a veteran leader, okay?
Call of Duty on veteran. That's too good. All right. I think this game was flexed into 1 o'clock. I'm not sure. Chiefs, Patriots.
It was actually flexed from Monday.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, it was the Monday game. And then they put, at the time, they thought Seattle would be in a better position. They put Seattle and Philly. That's why I was confused.
Which is still a better game than Kansas City versus the Patriots.
Yeah, it is. I put this notebook together like first couple weeks of the season, so that's why I was like, why is Philadelphia and Seattle like the 5th game I have here?
Yeah,
that makes
sense. It got flexed. Yeah.
All right, Kansas City and New England.
I believe Kansas City's like an 8-point favorite
in New England. So this is the interesting fact, and this might not impact this game because I don't know what your guys' successful pass rush rate is. But it might be raining there. That might impact this game, especially with no Isaiah Pacheco. The last 3 weeks, these 2 interesting facts, actually, because I didn't think about this one until just now. The last 3 weeks, the Chiefs have started down 14-0, 14-3, and 14-0.
Are we looking at a Bailey Zappi fast start again?
Maybe. It also could be, if that happens, we could see the Patriots, with the way their defense plays, can just hold the game from that point. But the fact that I saw this today on NFL Network, normally they don't like to badmouth Mr. Patrick. Passer ratings while under pressure in the 2023 season. Bryce Young, and they said it was a rookie. I didn't see the name. It can't be. Oh, Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Gardner Minshew are the only 3 quarterbacks with a worse passer rating in the NFL than Patrick Mahomes while under pressure this season.
Yeah, Desmond. I saw a graphic that showed Desmond Ridder has better numbers than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
it's like, what? But it makes sense. He has been struggling, and again, when you got like a 12% drop rate, dude. Like, I get it, but he's also part of that problem.
Yeah, he's throwing some balls behind receivers. He's throwing balls low. He's not necessarily putting the ball where he needs to be consistently. And he also seems to always just try and Kurt Warner pointed it out. I don't know if he just like loves hearing his name as the heroic guy or game-changing guy, but Kurt Warner pointed it out. Sometimes he just doesn't throw the ball away. He tries to make the exceptional play.
Yeah, and that turns into a turnover or
a beg sack. Like, just sometimes it's okay. Just throw the fucking ball away, dude.
Now, one notable injury for the Patriots, and it's not Juju. Yes, he's out, but that's not the notable one. Trent Brown. Man. Trent Brown,
yeah, left tackle,
will not be playing.
Yeah. Is Donovan Smith playing? Do we counter that with another left tackle?
Let's see. Donovan Smith out.
There you go.
So left tackles. See ya. Fair trade.
I don't know. I really want to go Pats here. I really do, but I have to go with the Chiefs. They can't lose a 3rd straight game, 4 out of 5.
I mean, I can see the Chiefs losing this game. I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
100%.
I can see them losing this game.
Oh, 100%. I think there's a very realistic chance they lose this game. But at the same time, it's Bill Belichick, and this offense has been so bad that I just could see them fumble this game too.
Well, their offense is bad. The kicker's really like unproven. Like, you're just not getting the points you used to get, and that's going to be what it comes down to. Is this? I could see this game being like 14-10.
Yeah. By the way, this is a rare stat for Patrick Mahomes as well. The Chiefs have lost every game this season when allowing 21 points scored by the other
saw that graphic. I did.
That's crazy.
For a team that used to average, 34?
Yeah. Like it's so bad. This Chiefs fan friend of mine just keeps going, "Oh, people need to shut up about needing Tyreek. We won the Super Bowl last year, but now here you are."
Yeah, the playoffs might not even go through your stadium.
There's a good chance they're not going through Kansas City now. It's one of the reasons I picked Denver yesterday is because if Denver would have won that game, I thought Sean Payton would have them in a better spot. If they would have won that game yesterday, and Kansas City drops any game the rest of the season, including the next one they play against Denver. I think they play Denver. No, they do not. No, they don't. But if they dropped one more game at any point, they would have had the same record.
Yeah.
And you never know. But anyway, Philly, no, that's not it. Baltimore at Jacksonville, that's Sunday Night Football. But we'll talk about it anyway because that's the next one here. So, Baltimore visiting Jacksonville for 8:20 p.m. All the Chiefs receivers.
This is a good one.
Any other team? Chiefs didn't bring talent in very well. No, they did not. Rashee Rice is developing into a good number 2, but they still just don't even have a true 1.
Now look across the aisle today, and you'll see what a team with no true receivers looks like.
Yeah, 100%.
The Chiefs receivers don't have hands. The Patriots receivers don't have hands, eyes, and are missing 1 foot.
Yeah, they can't route run for shit, so they can't even get open. I do want to ask that Broncos call, which we'll talk about more in depth tomorrow, but the Broncos call on 4th and goal, the penalty that came up because of an offensive offsides because the right guard's helmet was slightly on the edge of the football. Do you think they're starting to call offensive offsides now after last week to try and prove
after the big fines to
try and just prove a point? Because, if that's the case, Tony's got to be watched today because 6 times last week he lined up off sides.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick will tell the refs, hey, keep an eye on that guy. He likes to line up off sides before the game starts. So
yeah, a little underhanded comment just to get it in the back of the head. Mind ninja you.
But anyway, Baltimore visiting Jacksonville today. 3.5 point favorite on the road, the Jags, and the Ravens. Trevor Lawrence threw 3 picks last week with this injured ankle.
This Baltimore defense is real, and the Jags are sliding. ETN's been struggling. I'm taking Baltimore here all day.
I wish they would have listed Kyle Hamilton is out. I don't think you need him this week.
But I don't think he plays.
Yeah, I know. He's questionable. I've heard he's trending towards not playing, but it's an MCL strain or sprain. Just sit the guy. Let him rest a week. You're fine. But I agree with you. I'm going Baltimore. The Jags have been sliding like crazy. The Ravens now know that the AFC completely can run through Baltimore if they win out. They have the second toughest schedule left in the league behind Buffalo. So, which they play each other in 2 weeks. I think that I think the Ravens know they have to win the games that they're favored in because there's going to be next Monday with the Niners. That's a hell of a game. And they got to go into this with another game in hand. So
yeah,
I think John Harbaugh gets them on the right foot here in Jacksonville. Sorry, my cat. So Cloud is laying next to me, which is rare when I'm doing the podcast. But Mew likes to lay on my lap or right next to my lap, but he can't get by Cloud, so he's laying on Cloud's butt and my hip.
Comfortable.
It's distracting the crap out of me because he keeps trying to grab my thigh to hold on since he's not perfectly up. Anyway, Falcons at Panthers, the 45-cent game. And if you don't know what I mean, there's tickets being sold for this game for 45 cents today.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wants to watch Carolina anymore.
Well, I think people don't even want to watch Atlanta. It's like you have all these weapons and you don't use them.
Yeah, the fact that they're only a 3-point favorite, even though it is on the road, is still kind of crazy considering, they're 1-12 Panthers. But I'm not going to overthink it. Falcons. I'm not going to overthink this.
We both last week said Carolina's not winning another game, and I'm sticking to that.
Yeah, I was going to try and overthink it and find a way that Carolina finally gets a second game, but no, Falcons. I can't do it. They're a terrible team. And the shit show inside the organization is even worse. So I can't.
Yeah, like as rough as the job in LA with the Chargers will be, it's not as bad as Carolina.
No draft capital next season. You got a young quarterback who didn't really get a chance to have a rookie season because he's had so much turmoil the entire season through the coaching staff, offensive coordinators changing multiple times, head coach being fired, your offensive coach being fired and then replaced. Like everything it's just been turmoil. No real receivers. It's a nasty situation to go into. And then the terrible owner who just makes things hell for everybody. I think
the owner's the biggest problem.
Yeah, I mean, when you have coaches in the organization texting another coach in the league that is going to be up for head coaching jobs, do not come to Carolina because it's really bad to work around Tepper. Like that is.
Well, somebody made a good point about the Chargers job, right? Like it'll be hell. And they said, who do they hire first, the coach or the GM?
That's interesting. You should always hire a GM first so he can pick a coach he likes to work with. But if it's like a coach like Harbaugh, yeah, he can run as the GM.
You know what I mean? He could pick the GM then.
Yeah.
The other thing about it was somebody brought up this too, was Herbert's in his 5th year. And I think he's had either 4 or 5 offensive coordinators.
Yeah, it's 4.
Which, again, like somebody was like, well, Herbert's good enough. He should elevate. And it's like, no.
They make the play calls.
Like, look how bad the play calling is with Kellen Moore. And then what you're seeing Dallas do, well, Moore might be the problem.
Yeah, no. You're right because first year was a offensive coordinator. I don't remember who it was. Then the next 2 years were Joe Lombardi, and now it's Kellen Moore. And there was probably someone else. But Joe Lombardi, who is now the offensive coordinator for somebody. The Rams? No. They have Sean McVay. The Raiders? I don't know. I heard his name recently on the sideline. But 2 games left, Monday Night Football, and then the 4:25 big game. I mean, this is a big game.
It's a tough one to pick, too.
Cowboys visiting Buffalo. Cowboys are 3-3 on the road. Buffalo has really turned it around. All of Buffalo but one person has turned it around. I'm sorry. I can't forget to mention the fact that since week 8, Stephon Diggs only has 324 yards. Because he apparently hasn't turned it around. But everybody else on the team has, including James Cook and Gabe Davis, is starting to look better. So, all right, Cloud, get down. I'm sorry, sweetheart. He is trying to grab your face with his claws because you're in his way. I don't want you getting hurt. Psycho, your spot. Sorry, baby. Come here. Anyway, come here.
The only thing I was pretty adamant I was taking the Bills here. But they're going to be missing a couple key pieces on defense.
They're always missing something on defense. Who are they missing today?
Epinesa and
that's a big one.
And Hyde, maybe?
Yeah, Micah Hyde's out with a neck injury.
Yeah, the Epinesa thing, I was like,
come on. You can get back up. He decided to jump over.
Now, if this doesn't tell you anything, Buffalo is a 2-point favorite at home, and the pick'em is 50% Dallas, 49.6% Buffalo.
Don't ask me why. I just refreshed, and I literally watched the number change from 2 to 2.5 point. Literally just now.
Wow.
I don't know what changed it.
So Epinesa is out for sure. Hyde's out for sure. They have Cowboys have Gilmore, Cooks, Malik Hooker, all questionable. Jonathan Hankins, D tackle, out. Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver, questionable. I mean, if Brandon Cooks can't go, that really just leaves CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard.
Yeah, RotoWire this morning posted that Brandon Cooks and Gilmore dealing with an illness, both likely to play unless they get worse.
Yeah, it seems like every team has a couple of guys that are getting the flu right now.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that after this game for sure, because the next game is heavily impacted by that now.
Yeah.
But anyway, in Buffalo, I believe it's going to be crap weather.
36 degrees in Orchard Park. Cloudy at the beginning of game time. Let's check. It's
rainfall today around 1/4 inch up there.
Yep. So it should get real wet later on.
I don't know. I'm going to roll the Bills. I just think the Cowboys on the road have to prove it to me. I'm not saying they can't win this game. This is the game they have to prove it to me, though.
Yeah, this could be the game that either cements Dak in the MVP race or brings Josh Allen back into it.
Yeah. This also could be the game that decides Dallas entirely having any home field opportunity at all.
Right. I initially picked the Bills before the Epinesa. I'm sticking with them. I like the way Cook's been playing lately. Allen, he's good for a turnover, but in the rain, Pollard hasn't been that good.
Pollard's been pretty rough this season. Rico Dowdle has been the better running back the past 2 weeks.
And like I said, Cook's playing better, so I'd give the edge to Buffalo today. But Cook's kind of been more in the pass game than the actual run game. I still like the Bills here. I'm taking it.
I'm going to have a lot of fun watching Teron Johnson cover CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
I think that's actually going to be a fun matchup because he's been a really good corner this year with the other ones injured, with Tre'Davious White and company, Ball being hurt. Teron Johnson's been a really reliable guy. So, no, I'll pick the Bills. I haven't done that much this season because I felt a lot less confident since Josh Allen's had 9 straight games now with a turnover. But the rainy, sloppy game. I mean,
listen, with all those turnovers, also comes the most touchdowns in the league.
Yeah, somehow I don't know. But Stephon Diggs is going to have to wake up this week. He's going to have to actually show back up. He has been missing since week 8. The Bills are going to need him because if the defense doesn't hold for Buffalo, they can still win an offensive shootout.
Right.
They just need their biggest deep threat to wake up. So, all right, Monday Night Football is all we got left. I can't confidently pick this. You might hear me change my pick tomorrow night before when we go live before the game starts because Adam Schefter has reported this morning that Jalen Ramsey has been downgraded to not Jalen Ramsey. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I'm watching him on the screen.
Jalen Hurts.
Dolphins. Jalen Hurts has been downgraded to questionable as he woke up this morning. He's been dealing with an illness, but he woke up this morning feeling significantly worse. So Jalen Hurts is questionable to go visit Seattle tomorrow night. And if they don't have Jalen Hurts against Seattle, I probably lean Seattle right now because not saying Seattle's been great, but that offense is – if you're going to wake up, if that offense is going to come to life, I mean –
that offense posted 35 on Dallas.
Yeah, and the Eagles' horrendous secondary is the –
No, I think the Eagles' defense is like 28th ranked in the league right now. This is not the Eagles of old. I think they're okay. But like you said, if Jalen Hurts doesn't play, yeah, they're in a world of hurt.
But is it Drew Lock?
Oh, Geno's still dealing with his nagging groin injury.
Yeah, I just saw he's questionable for Monday.
Yeah, I think he got downgraded either last night or this morning. I was reading it.
Because they said the app I use shows projected lineups, and the projected quarterback right now is Drew Lock. This will be interesting. I'll pick it for now. I'll pick Philly, but I think that might be the line change from 4 to 2.5 is the uncertainty. Yeah.
And especially because it's the Monday night game, they'll already know the result of the Dallas game. They'll know the result of the Baltimore game and the Niners games. Yeah. So it kind of works in their favor.
And they already know Detroit's result. And people can keep forgetting it, but Detroit is literally right behind everybody.
Yep.
Like the AFC is loaded because you have teams at like 8 and 6 all the way through like the top 10 teams or 9 teams.
The NFC
But the
stacked to the
NFC
top.
is loaded as hell at the top 4.
Yeah. It's like, no, they're going to take each other out, but you still got to play one of them in the end.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'll go Eagles for now. We're live at 8, so before game time, I can change that depending on the injury updates. But,
yeah, I'm taking the Eagles here. It's weird because I want to be like, oh, they need to bounce. I'm not sure they bounce yet.
I'm not sure either, but they definitely need a bounce, but I'm not sure. But if Dallas loses today, it gives them a little more comfortability.
Even if I'm taking Philly against Dallas, where they just played uninspired ball, I think their floor is higher than Seattle's, and their ceiling is much higher than Seattle's.
Yeah. And if Seattle loses this, they're not a playoff team anymore. Not that they are right now, but if they fall to 6 and 8, realistically, they would have to have a miracle at the end of the season.
Yeah. So yeah.
Seattle's really going to have to play some inspired football tomorrow to pull this off.
And we'll see. Obviously you'll see what kind of DK you get. Tyler Lockett's been kind of non-existent.
He got really good last week with Drew Lock, but with what's his name? Yeah,
Gino.
With Gino, he's been, like you said, non-existent. I don't understand. Tomorrow night's Seattle weather, not shocking, but 44 degrees with occasional rain showers.
I was going to say wet.
It's the most predictable December weather in Seattle. So those are the picks. Any fantasy questions, people, please ask before we leave. We've got a couple minutes until I get out of here and go take some medicine. And
everybody's going to think our league is rigged.
I mean, not really. I missed the playoffs. So there you go. Granted, I just took second place in my division. I thought it was the top 2 teams of every division, but I don't fucking know. But anyway, whatever. I'm all right with it.
Listen, Commish, you're the one who set the rules.
I know. I'm not stressed about football for once. So, whatever. I'm sick. Got to take the freaking tortoise to a vet soon because she apparently decided to stop eating the past 2 days. So,
hunger strike.
She's frustrating the crap out of me. I even freaking cut up some cucumbers to give her because those are considered a treat for them. And she didn't eat any of them yesterday. I was like, you're a dick. She's probably sick, but she's a dick. So I got to take her to the vet this week. That's going to be a day out of work because it's hard to get into a fucking exotic reptile vet.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Actually, there was one down by us where I went to school, Western New York for college. And, you'd think it's kind of unassuming. And then you go in there and the dude's got like a 22-foot python in a cage. Like, he really loves exotic animals. He had like a big ass tortoise. So yeah, that was kind of crazy going in there because you got to see some really neat stuff.
Yeah, the exotic vet in my town, the guy actually, he's really hard to get because he's in his 70s, so he's quote unquote retired, but he's still, and they turned the vet into a regular vet, but he comes in 2 days a week to do any reptile visits and stuff like that, hamsters and all the other weird little pets. And then he's not there the rest of the week. So you have to get into his schedule with those 2 days because the next closest one is all the way down in Arlington, Virginia. So I would have to drive 2.5 hours to get her to a vet. But he's legendary. I mean, he took care of a couple of, he has a picture actually on his office wall of him meeting Steve Irwin, which made me literally like jealous as hell.
That's like the penultimate of animal loving,
Yeah. Can't get any better. But but he's, like I said, late 70s and just ready to retire, but he just loves animals. So, for those who are curious in fantasy football, I'm going to give a little heads up tip. Unless you're really comfortable, because I know a lot of games played yesterday and a lot of big names played yesterday, I would steer away from Jalen Waddle today. I don't like it. The Jets defense in the rain without Tyreek. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Jalen's got to be up. I have him down now. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah,
The
my only
defense
problem
is-
with me playing him today is that my other option is Calvin Ridley at Baltimore, and I'm not comfortable with that
No.
at all.
No, unless they put Marlon Humphrey against him, but it'll probably be Brandon Stevens. So
Yeah, I'm good. I could have, if I had played Jacoby Myers, I would have been set.
did he have a big game on Thursday?
Yeah, he threw
Everybody
he
had
threw
a
for a
big game.
touchdown.
Yeah, and everybody had a big game on Thursday except for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Did you just say on Laporta now leads the tight ends, all tight ends, and touchdowns? And
Well, somebody was saying that. Just remember what Detroit did to make those picks happen.
Yeah, I mean, both of them went. I don't know.
He already has 3 more touchdowns than Kyle Pitts has in his entire career.
Yeah, that's insane. Granted, Kyle Pitts isn't a lack of talent. That's just a really bad head coach, an offensive-minded head coach. But, yeah, and Jahmyr Gibbs yesterday, holy crap.
Yeah, David Montgomery's going to be, second fiddle. He already is.
Gibbs is just so explosive. There's so much pop.
One more thing before we go, okay?
Oh, God. Not you, sorry. Nauseous. Go ahead.
If we think back to the end of last season, coming into this season, right? And you look at all the injuries to quarterbacks, one glaring name stands out as the guy everybody thought was on a razor thin wire, and he's still playing.
Baker.
Tua.
Oh.
He's hardly gotten hit this year.
You mean razor thin wire on injury? Yeah, no, he's been good at getting the ball out. Like, even if he's not completing some of these passes under pressure, he's throwing the ball away. Patrick Mahomes, listen to that. But no, yeah, Tua's throwing the ball away and getting out of pressure when he's under pressure. But you're right, he's not getting hit, and he's learned how to take
last week might have been one of the rougher weeks he's had.
Yeah. But no, I didn't think he was going to make it through the season, and obviously we still have a long way to go, and I hope he does. I don't ever want anyone to be injured, just for those who are like, wow, you think someone's going to get hurt? I'm not hoping, but the chances at the beginning of the season, we all thought
if you were to look down the list of injured quarterbacks, Burrow, Herbert, God,
there's like 80. I'm not going to say Deshaun, but
we've already seen 50 quarterbacks start this year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of insane that
Stroud.
Yeah, and just like Tua, it's a concussion.
His was bad too.
Oh,
not as bad as Michael Pittman's.
I was going to say, speaking of that, did you see that damn hit? Oh my God!
That's what I sent you last night on Snap. I think he died. I don't.
Just the way his spinal cord bent.
I know he's okay, and I'm glad he's okay, and he just has a really bad concussion. But man, that hit was so disgusting. Like and it's not like, oh, that was one of those plays that in today's league we're like, oh, that's bad. No, he literally, KZ lowered the crown of his helmet. Like he straight bent all the way down 90 degrees.
Like he missed.
Yeah, and that was a deliberately bad hit. That wasn't one of those where you go, oh man, that was just a hard football hit.
Now, there were a few guys who broke it down and said just because of the timing, like essentially KZ is now going lower than ever before. So it actually probably worsened the situation.
Yeah.
For like how they're supposed to tackle now.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's one of the things that people have said is the way they're being told to tackle now is if a receiver or running back ever has to go low, the defender is immediately, their initiate is, as soon as you make contact with that ball, I want to hit you, but I got to hit you low now. I'm not allowed to hit you high. So if a player, he can't wait to see how you're going to react to how the ball's thrown. He sees the ball in his direction. He has to react, do the way he has to do his job.
Yeah.
So it's happening around the league. A lot of these hits, people are like, oh man, that shouldn't be allowed. And I'm like, a lot of the time they're reacting because they have to now. Like there's no physically up top hits. So you got to start aiming low immediately.
Yeah. If you're launching to tackle, you got to launch low.
Yeah. And then I saw Roger Goodell yesterday or Friday say that they're going to most likely move forward and ban the hip drop tackle starting next season. And I just don't. I look. I know that it's a really offensive players hate that tackle, but that is just now another way that 15 yards is going to get added onto a play because a guy is just trying to make a tackle.
Every rule change they make favors the offense.
1,000,000%.
And you know what's going to be the next one? The fumble out of the end zone.
Oh yeah, that's going to probably
that's going to go. They're going to find some way to just say, look, you fumble, you go 20 yards back, loss of down, something like that. But I guarantee you that's coming out, and that's again helping the offense retain the ball. It just, I'm sorry, but the hip, like, I understand a horse collar tackle. Like I can watch guys' knees bend backwards. Okay.
Oh, that, and it also pulls your head straight back.
Right.
Like there's no defending your head.
The hip drop is just a guy trying to bring you to the ground.
Yeah, it's not a deliberately disgusting tackle. Literally, it's just meant to bring you to the ground without.
Like, listen, just trade it out, but instead of the hip drop, you have to stone cold stunner him to the ground.
Right? Like I don't know what they want at this point. You can't suplex, so it's not like you can stop and grab them behind you and throw them over you. You're just trying to bring them straight down when they're right in front of you.
I don't know why they got rid of the suplex, man. The suplex is great. Like, it's like, I am stronger than you. I lifted you off the ground, and now you're on the ground.
That's why I loved in the San Francisco and Seattle, Philly game. I loved watching Greenlaw suplex. I think it was Jalen Hurts. I don't remember who it was. When Dom got in trouble. That Dom incident. It was because of a suplex tackle over his head out of bounds. And I was like, I love that. Like, it's a suplex.
And then the following week, DK suplexes Greenlaw.
Fred Warner.
Or Fred Warner. You're right.
Because Fred Warner, afterward, Fred Warner goes, man, you can really tackle. That's what he said that set off DK.
Yeah.
By the way, I did mention his name, so I'll bring it up before we leave. Dom has been banned from the sideline for the rest of the season.
Regular season, he will be able to be present during the playoffs.
Yeah, I said it in case our favorite Boogie is just chilling back there somewhere.
I know. Well, probably. Just didn't say hi this morning, did she?
Right?
That happens.
She was like, "Let's see how much they shit talk my Eagles."
Well, listen, we both took the Eagles.
I know. Yeah, I'm all for it. I want them to get it right. I don't want Dallas to win a Super Bowl because Colin Cowherd will never shut up. Not Colin Cowherd. Skip Bayless and Michael Irvin will never shut up. So I don't want them in an NFC title picture. So I need Philly to win out.
and just to give you a little appeasement here.
See, there she is. She's a rose.
I saw some Houston Oilers jerseys on.
Yeah, the Titans are wearing some Houston Oilers jerseys today while playing the Houston Texans.
Just a reminder. But yeah, it should be a good day of football. There's some good games. There's games that are going to be good that probably shouldn't be.
Also, as a fan of wrestling, and we do occasionally mention wrestling, I'm not going to let this get political, but I'm going to say, can Florida wake the fuck up? They just arrested one of my favorite female wrestlers because she had less than a gram of pot.
I did see that, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's
$3,000 bond. It's come on, man.
It's almost 2024. Then again, we're banning books because words hurt.
Yeah, but less than a gram of pot. I'm like, are you fucking... Somebody was like, because I saw it come across my phone. I was like, Liv Morgan has been arrested. I was like, what the hell could she have done? Dude. And then I read it, and I was like, only in fucking Florida.
Yeah, because guess what? If you go to Miami, you can get caught with a fucking kilo of cocaine, and it's fine.
Well, something's got to fuel that city's price and pay.
Yeah. I mean, they have those documentaries on that, Cocaine Cowboys. That's all Miami, baby.
That really aggravated me as a fan of sports and entertainment. Like,
well, I would much rather have athletes smoking pot than taking painkillers.
Yeah, or doing whatever the fuck Lawrence Taylor was doing with his life.
Oh, sorry, well, Lawrence Taylor had it down to a science. I mean, that guy showed up to practice still wearing handcuffs because the hooker forgot where the keys were. They had a $2 million insurance policy on him because they knew how much drugs he was taking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just and guess what? And he was still a superhuman. he was just superhuman at doing drugs too. Like, listen,
I don't
when you
know.
live life on the edge, yeah, Keith Richards, Lawrence Taylor, you just live life on the edge, and that's
we talk about who the best linebackers of all time are, and Lawrence Taylor's most of the time at the top of people's list. And I always go, what if Ray Lewis had that kind of drug problem and could run around on coke?
Well,
people would be murdered.
People were murdered.
Well, yeah, somebody did get murdered. That's right. That's
yeah. You basically get John Jones.
You get John freaking Jones, the guy who tweeted about how much he didn't like Covington's. What he says, Covington's a scummy human being and a bad person, and I was like, I guess you just know what they look like because you wake up every day looking at one. But
yeah, but Covington's scummy is different than John's. Like John's is almost personally scummy. Covington's goes after other people.
Yeah, did you hear his comments on why he lost the fight?
Yeah, and his post-fight interview was like...
That's what I'm saying, the post-fight interview, where he said that the judges weren't going to give him the fight because he's a Trumper, and they won't like him, so they don't vote for him because he likes Trump.
Oh, my God, like, you literally took Trump's playbook. Oh, no. How about you throw a fucking punch in the first 2 rounds?
Right? You literally did nothing for most of your fight, and you're like, oh, the judges just didn't give me any nod in the scorecard simply because of
You are the challenger. It is incumbent upon you to win the fight.
Yeah, you got to come get the title holder.
And Leon is a calculated. He can go fast paced if you go fast paced, but if you go his pace, he's going to be comfortable.
Yeah, we saw it with Kamaru. Kamaru dominated him for 4 rounds, and then Leon landed that good freaking punch in the 5th round. And
head kick. Oh,
head kick. That's what it was. I just remember Kamaru getting knocked the fuck out.
His lights went out immediately, and it was such a good setup by Leon too. Like he kept like feinting the punch, and as soon as he got Kamaru to duck again, bang, right on the button.
Last thing I'll say about the fights last night before we potentially talk about it more in depth tomorrow was I saw this tweet and I thought it was funny that Strickland and Duplessis had a better fight in the crowd than Covington and Leon did in the ring.
Strickland had the sensibility to tell that kid to get out of his way.
Yep.
And then he jumped the chair.
Yep. I can't wait till those 2 fight.
And then did you see that one knockout where the dude seized up after?
Oh, Bryce Mitchell? Yeah.
Did you hear that punch?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I went back and watched it this morning a few more times. Just the sound of that punch.
Josh Emmett posted it and goes, I told you I only needed 1 punch. I was like, yep, but it makes that noise. Like,
at least it wasn't like Cyborg's husband who got his forehead caved in, but
yeah, that little dent in his head. Bryce Mitchell is one of those flat earthers that believes.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he took that fight on like 7 to 10 days notice. Like, I got to give him credit.
I was just happy that there can't be any brain damage because he doesn't have any senses. That's all I was gonna say. Like,
just, 2 brain cells.
There's no brain in there, so
fighting for 3rd place.
Because, man, I watched that. I was happy to see him lose because I don't like Bryce Mitchell, but I was really concerned when I saw him like doing that. I don't know, seizing up or convulsions, whatever. Afterward, I was like, "Holy shit!"
It's fun. A lot of times they don't show that, but when you get knocked out to that level, it does actually happen often.
He's from Alabama or Arkansas. What would you expect? I mean, yeah, I know. I asked, when because he had a fight over in Dubai in his last fight.
We don't date our first cousins anymore. We've moved on to the 3rd cousins now.
I don't know. Bryce Mitchell might date his fucking legit sister. I don't know. But I just don't. I don't know. I've never understood flat Earth. I said it yesterday when I was talking to my buddy Mike. Like, if I ever met a girl and I was talking to a girl and like getting interested, and she goes, "By the way, the Earth's flat," I'd be like, "I'm no longer talking to this girl."
There's only one conspiracy theory I subscribe to, and that's birds aren't real.
Yeah, he's funny. I mean. Yes, he takes everything seriously. When he disagreed with something Ariel Helwani said on Ariel Helwani's show, he literally started raging and screaming at Ariel Helwani like a toddler being told he can't have a toy. He is very serious about things. I will say that.
Well, listen, when you're only confirming your own beliefs all the time and you were the top of your class at being homeschooled, it's okay.
All right, it's 50 seconds until 1, so I'm gonna.
Let's get the hell out of here and go watch some football.
I'm gonna go. I don't know.
Yeah, do whatever those bodily functions are that you're gonna have from being sick, and we'll be in touch.
We'll be back, guys, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Join us, have some fun with us tomorrow night. We got a lot of football to talk about and a lot of things today. Have a good day, buddy.
Appreciate you, Tesco.
Have a good day, Boogie.
Bye, Bug.